I am in my 80s now. And I want to tell you something that took me 20 years to understand. When I turned 65, I thought the important part of my life was over. I thought my job now was to be careful. Careful with my money. Careful with my health. Careful with my words. Just get through the years quietly and do not be a burden. I was wrong. Dead wrong. And by the time I figured out how wrong, 15 years had passed, years I can never get back. If some miracles put me back at 65 tomorrow, I would do 6 things differently. Not trivial things, 6 decisions that would have changed everything. I am sharing them today because you might still be standing where I stood. And if even one of these lands with you, then an old man's regret becomes a younger man's map. Number 5 is the one that costs me the most sleep, even now. Stay with me for that one. And before I begin with, if you are over 65, do me one kindness. Comment on the state you are watching from. It does an old heart good to know who is out there listening. Here they are. The first thing I would change is my relationship with my own savings. I spent my whole working life saving, sacrificing, skipping the excellent restaurant, driving the old track one more year, telling my wife, maybe next summer, about that trip to see the national parks. And then I retired, and the habit did not retire with me. I kept guarding that money like a soldier at a gate, waiting for some emergency, some rainy day. Well, let me tell you what happened. The rainy day I was saving for never came in the form I imagined. What came instead was my 78th birthday, a knee that did not want long walks anymore, and a bank statement that looked healthy while my list of memories looked thin. The money outlived my ability to enjoy it. And one day it will pass on to people who will spend it on a weekend on things I will never see. I am not telling you to be foolish. Keep your safety net. A man needs his walls. But hear from me on this. There is a window between 65 and about 75 when you have both the money and the body. That window is shorter than you think, and it closes without a sound. If I were 65 again, I'd take the trip that year. Not someday that year. I'd buy the good boots, the good coffee, the good seats at the ball game with my grandson. Because I learned the hard truth too late. $1 spent at 65 buys a memory. $1 hoarded until 85 buys nothing but a bigger number on paper. The second thing I would change has nothing to do with money. It is about a phone call I put off for 11 years. I have a brother. Notice I said had. Frank and I stopped speaking when I was 63. The reason? I could tell you it was about our father's tools and who got the table saw, but that would be a lie we both told ourselves. It was really about pride. 2 stubborn old bulls, each waiting for the other to call first. At 65, I thought about calling him. At 68, I heard him asking about me, and I still did not call him. I figured, well, he can pick up a phone too. At 72, I finally decided that enough was enough, that the next holiday I would just drive over there and end this foolishness. He passed that spring, and I stood at his funeral holding 11 years of silence in my hands, with no place left to put it down. Here is what nobody tells you about grudges after 65. You are no longer arguing with time on your side. Every month you wait, you are gambling, and the house always wins eventually. That fight you are in right now, with a brother, a sister, an old friend, your own child, strip away the details and I promise the core of it is pride, 90 times out of 100. If I were 65 again, I would make the call the same week. And I would open with the only sentence that matters. I don't even care who was right anymore. I miss you. 8 words. I had 11 years to say 8 words. Do not be me. Whoever just came into your mind as I said this, that is your call to make. This week. Now, the third thing is quieter. It is about something men my age never talks about, until it is gone. At 65, I had what I thought were plenty of friends. Work friends. Neighborhood guys. Men I had known 30 years. By 75, my phone had gone quietly. Not because of any falling out, nothing so dramatic. Some moved to be near their kids. Some got sick. Some passed. And the ones who remained, well, men do not maintain friendships, do they? We do not call just to talk. We always needed a reason, a job, a project, a poker game. Take away the reason, and the friendship just sits in the garage like an old car nobody drives. Here is what I understand now. After 65, friendship stops being automatic. Your whole life, the world handed you people, school, work, the kids' ball games. Now the conveyor belt has stopped. From here on, every friendship must be built and maintained by hand, on purpose, or it dies of neglect. The loneliest years of my life were 74 to 78, and the man who pulled me out was a fellow named Pete, who did something so simple it embarrasses me. Every Thursday he called. Every single Thursday, whether there was news or not. Thursday check-in, he would say. That one weekly call was a rope, and I held on to it. If I were 65 again, I would have become Pete. I would pick 3 or 4 men, and I would be the one who calls every week, who organizes the breakfast, who shows up. Not wait to be invited, be the inviter. It costs a man nothing but a little pride, and I can tell you from the far end of the road, pride is worth nothing, and a Thursday phone call is worth everything. The fourth thing I would change, I resisted for years. My doctor nagged me, my wife nagged me. If only I had listened at 65 instead of 73. Pause with me here for a moment. If any of the first 3 have stirred something in you, a trip you have delayed, a call you have not made, a friend you have lost touch with, good. That stirring is the whole reason I'm talking. Now, thing 4. I would walk. Every day. From day 1. Nothing fancy, mind you. I'm not talking about gyms or running or any of that business. I mean the simple, boring, unglamorous habit of moving this old machine every single day. A walk around the block, working in the yard, taking the stairs while stairs are still an option. At 65, I could do everything. So, I assumed I always would. That is the trap. Ability does not announce that it is leaving. It just slips out quietly, one skipped walk at a time. I sat through my late 60s. Recliner, television, I'll get out there tomorrow. And every month of sitting was a small loan I was taking out against my future body. In my mid-70s, the bill came due. The stairs got harder, then the garden, then the fishing trips. But here is the part one want you to hear because it is the hopeful part. My friend Walt started walking at 67, just 2 miles every morning, rain or shining, slow as syrup. He is 84 now and he still walks to the coffee shop while men 10 years younger wait for rides. Same generation, same town, same aches. The difference was never luck. It was the daily walk. I am not your doctor, and this is not medical advice. For any of that, talk to you. This is just an old man telling you what he saw. At this age, motion is a possession. You either use it every day, or you lose it quietly. If I were 65 again, I would walk every morning like my freedom depended on it. Because it did. And now, thing 5. The one that keeps me up at night. It is about words I never said. My generation of men was raised on a simple rule. You do not say it, you show it. You work for your family, that's love. You fix their cars, you pay for the weddings, you show up. Words were for greeting cards. I believed that for 80 years. And I was wrong about it for 80 years. My son Michael is 55 now. A good man. And do you know what he said to me just a few years ago, after his own heart scare made everyone honest for a week? He said, I spent 40 years wondering if I had made you proud. You never said. I was proud of that boy every single day of his life. I told my coworkers. I had told the barber, the neighbors, complete strangers at the hardware store. Everyone on God's green earth knew I was proud of Michael, except Michael. You see, here is what I finally understand. Love that stays inside your chest does the other person no good at all. They cannot feel what you feel. They can only hear what you say and see what you do. And he knows, that thing we tell ourselves, she knows I love her, he knows I'm proud. That's not communication. That is hope. And people cannot build a life on their hopes. If I were 65 again, I would say the words while everyone could still hear them. I'm proud of you. You were a good daughter. I was wrong back then and I'm sorry. You made my life better. A man can say more in 4 sentences than in 40 years of fixed cars, if he just opens his mouth. Say the words. At the dinner table, on the phone, in a letter if your voice will not cooperate. You will never, ever regret saying them. I can promise you which one you will regret. And finally, the 6th thing. The one that would have changed all the others. The 6th thing is the deepest one, so let me say it plainly. I spent my 60s worried about what people thought of me. Whether the neighbors judged the old truck. Whether the family thought I was slowing down. Whether the men at church noticed I had gotten quieter. I made 100 small decisions. What to wear, what to say, what to try, what not to try. All for an invisible audience of judges. And then, somewhere in my late 70s, I finally saw the truth, and I laughed aloud when I saw it. The audience was never watching. Everybody was too busy performing in their own show to review mine. The neighbors were not thinking about my truck. They were worried about what I thought of their lawn. Do you understand what that means? It means the prison was never locked. All those years of what will people think, nobody was thinking anything. I skipped the dance classes my wife wanted because men my age would look foolish. I never authored the little stories I used to scribble because who was I to write? I performed dignity for an empty theater, while the actual joys of my one life waited outside the stage door. If I were 65 again, I would live for an audience of one. The man in the mirror, and the good Lord above him, and no one else. I would take the dance class. I would author the stories badly and happily. I would wear a loud shirt, order the dessert, ask the question everyone is too proud to ask. At 65, you have 20 good years left. Spending even one of them worried about the opinions of people who are not paying attention, that is the only foolish thing a man your age can do. So, there they are. 6 things. Spend the money while the window's open. Make the call this week. Build friendships by hand. Walk every day. Say the words aloud. And live for the audience of one. Now here is the good news, and I want you to really hear it. I told you these as regrets, but for you, they are not regretting yet. You are standing at 65, or 68, or 72, with the one thing I would trade everything for. Time still on the clock. Every single one of these 6 is still available to you. Today, this week. That is not a burden. That is a gift an old man would give anything to unwrap again. Do not wait until 80 to learn what I learned. Borrow my 20 years of hindsight and spend them while they are worth something. You have earned your peace. Now go live like a man who knows the clock is a friend, not an enemy. If this spoke to you, subscribe, because in an upcoming video I am talking about why, once you turn 70, you should stop explaining yourself to 5 specific people. That one sets men free, I promise you. Take care of yourself. I will see you in the next one.